Live from Crawthorne, it's the most hype Pokemon match of all time. The Crawthorne Crabhammers face off against the EDinburghNites. It's time to face the Bluesy.
Hey guys, it's Crawthorne Crabhammers. Pew pew pew. Hope you enjoyed that intro. It was quite interesting of me to try something a bit different. I hope you did enjoy it. I think I'll put a lot of editing into it. I'm recording this before I'm doing the editing, so we'll see, I guess. Yeah, this week, as I said, we're facing off against Baezy, coach of the EDinburghNites. This is a big week. He is currently undefeated. I'm sitting at 3-1. He's at 4-0, obviously. And I have to dethrone him. It's my job to do so, and I believe I can do it. I'm feeling confident this week. We had a week break. That's why there was no video last Saturday. We had a week break due to the March Madness tournament that was happening the weekend before, and a lot of people were sort of a bit late on their matches for that week. And so Bob graciously granted us a week off, which worked well for me because I got Dark Souls 3 and I was focusing on that. I was able to put together a team early on this week, and we battled only yesterday. I'm recording this on Friday, so it's quite fresh in my mind. It was last night as well. I'm feeling very comfortable with the team that I brought, and I think that it deals well with a lot of his threats. I'll go over what his team is now. He has Talonflame, Mega Gyarados, Mamoswine, Klefki, Roserade, Electros, Noivern, Hitmonlee, and Miss Magus. Now, when you look at that, you think physical threat, physical threat, physical threat, physical threat, physical threat. The reason I say 5 physical threats is because he likes bringing Coil Eel. Normally I'd consider it a special attacker, but that is a set that he likes to bring, so it's in the forefront of my mind. Basically, every physical attacker he has a decent enough matchup against my team, most importantly Hitmonlee. And so, even though I didn't reflect that in my prep, I somewhat had things to deal with Hitmonlee. So you'll see that in the team builder, which I will show you very shortly. When you look at it, Mega Gyarados does a whole lot of damage to my team. I need to bring resist berries for that. Talonflame does a whole lot of damage to my team, except for Mega Tyranitar, so that was a must bring. Mamoswine once again does a whole lot of damage to my team, except for resist berries. So that was kind of the plan. And yeah, we'll quickly go over the team builder right now. Alright, welcome to the team builder. As you can see, this is the team that I brought. I kind of wanted to focus on dealing with his offensive threats mainly, because that was sort of his approach to the game. We both have very offensive teams, and I thought if I deal with his offensive threats accordingly, I can just whittle him down and then pull through with one of my offensive mons. First defensive mon making his first appearance, we have a Rest Poliwrath with Focus Blast called Encore and Rest. Encore is that if he later on in the game he decides to stay in, risk the burn and set up DDs, I can Encore him into it, get a score, burn, or switch out into something that can kill it, like Cobalion. So that's kind of the idea behind this. Score for the burns, obviously, Focus Blast because it's a 2-hit KO. I was going to run Vacuum Wave, but it only does like a quarter if that. And Rest for recovery, obviously. I need this to... I can take hits easily from Mamo if it's not banded. I can take hits from... what's it called? From Gyarados at +1. The only thing that this has trouble with on his team is Talonflame, and I have a lot to deal with Talonflame. So, next mon we have is specifically for the Mamo, and sort of for the Gyarados as well. It's there for both of them really. Close combat is a no-go after rocks. It's a no-go if he's not running more than 20 HP investment, I think it was, which was the HP I was expecting him to bring. Volt Switch is for in case he doesn't want to evolve. That's one of the things that Baezy does well, is he holds on to the Evo. So Volt Switching out on that could be clutch. I have T-Wave as well as sort of like a last resort. If he's +2, I can take an EQ very, very only just if I remember right, and T-Wave... No, I can't, sorry, I'm getting this all mixed up. T-Wave was in case he was at +1 and he had shown that he was slower for some reason, and close combat couldn't kill, so that's what T-Wave was for. Stone Edge is because a lot of his team is weak to rock, and what isn't weak to rock is weak to doesn't resist fighting, so that's why I brought those two moves instead of the Iron Head. And this, once again, is pretty similar idea behind this. What isn't weak to rock is weak to fire, so Entei with this set is going to do a lot of work this week. I brought E-Speed just for priority's sake, and Sub because I didn't really need a fourth move. That's how decent a matchup Entei has this week. Sorry, this speed is to outspeed Jolly Mamo. No, this speed is to outspeed Jolly Mamo. This is to outspeed Jolly Roserade, I think, if I remember right. This is to outspeed Jolly Mamo. 252 attack adamant just for pure power. Yeah, that's the spread. Sorry, I keep forgetting to go over my spread. Yeah, that's enough speed to outspeed Jolly Mamo. 168 HP is to live 2 plus 1 waterfalls, maybe, or take a crunch then then EQ. That was it. Crunch EQ with the sugar berry I can take. That's what it's there for. And the rest is an attack, of course. Yeah, I sort of went over this sufficiently. Then we have a more defensive Tyranitar, but still not defensive because I want power. Stone Edge Earthquake is just pretty much perfect coverage against the team. Once again, what's not weak to rock is weak to ground, because his only resist is Klefki. So Protect is for the potential HJK on Hitmonlee, and also for a potential natural gift on Talonflame, which I am expecting him to bring, because that's the only thing that can hit this. And I have Stealth Rock, of course, because I've said Talonflame. Yeah, the 16 speed is just to avoid being speed crapped, and the rest is an HP and attack. Then we have once again enough speed to outspeed Mamo with this particular Rotom. I'm Yachi Berry to take the ice move, of course, from it, and Oko with the Leaf Storm, providing I hit, because let's face it, Rotom isn't very good at that. Will-O-Wisp and Pain Split are there to whittle down both the Gyarados and Hitmonlee. If I can get a burn on Hitmonlee on the switch, I can take it, Pain Split up, then kill it off with something, because neither of these two do a whole lot of damage, like not over 60%. So. Then we have a Scarf Latias, because I'm expecting him to bring Scarf Mamo, simply put. Draco Meteor isn't an Oko, I don't believe, but it's an Oko after Rocks, if I remember right. I didn't bring Surf because I wanted in Power 5 for the Klefki. I wanted Psyshock for Roserade, in case you brought a specially defensive set, and there was something else that could... Oh, Hitmonlee as well. And Healing Wish just as like a final move, in case I can just like Healing Wish it off into something, get it to full health. Could come in clutch at some point. That's the team that I brought. Enough speed to outspeed Jolly Rose. I think that's the set. Yeah, Jolly Rose, that's it. Modest because I can, and the rest in HP. I went over the speed for that, yeah. Right, that's the team that I brought. I think I can deal decently well with everything that he could bring. I'm expecting him to bring especially offensive Eel, Sword Stance, Natural Gift, Talonbird, D-Dance, Gyarados, because why not? Who doesn't bring D-Dance Mega Gyarados? Scarf Mamo, as I said. What are the Klefki, because it's his only rock resist, and I've got a lot of rock coverage on this team. And another special attacker, I forget, Roserade, that's what I was expecting, which is why I brought so many speedy things to outspeed it. That was sort of the plan of attack. It's a very offensive team, but also quite bulky. If you look at the way that it's built, it takes a lot of hits, but also deals a lot of damage. That's mainly thanks to the resist berries. Thank God for them. And yeah, that's sort of the plan of attack here. We'll just have to hop into the battle to see how it goes. So here we are. This is the battle, as I said. There are the teams that are brought that you can see right in front of you. He didn't end up bringing Roserade, instead he brought Hitmonlee, which is scary as hell. If you look at his team, he's got 4 stupidly powerful physical attackers, a Klefki for support, and Eel for just being Eel, I guess. This team is very scary. I feel like I'm relatively well equipped to deal with it. The only problem will be a potential unburden Hitmonlee. But I feel like that's not too much of an issue. I can sort of switch around, and I have the Protect, and I have Rotom and Entei, which can take 1 hit, providing he doesn't have Stone Edge, and Rotom can just take a hit anyway. And Poliwrath can deal with it semi-well, so that's sort of the plan of attack there. Lead-wise, I was expecting Klefki or Mamo. Wasn't expecting all too much else, maybe even Eel. I decide that Entei is a safe enough lead, so I go straight, as I said, with Entei. Tell you what, this is for Shardy. He gets really pissed when I do the pausing, so I'll just leave it rolling. And it'll just have to be awkward when there's silences, because fuck Shardy. I lead off with Entei. As I said before the match, I predicted to be Scarf, so I switch out just in case. I go out into Rotom Lamau to take the potential EQ, and he stays in and shows EQ, which shows that he's either Sash, some kind of resist berry, or he's Scarfed. So I'm assuming Scarfed at this point, and I Volt Switch out, I believe, because he has no resists, aside from Mamo, which he's not keeping in. He goes out into Eel, I Volt Switch out. Here I misclick, I wanted to go into a Latias, but that's alright. I end up going into Entei instead. That's fine. I can 2-hit KO this with Sacred Fire if he's not like defense invested. I go for the Sacred Fire, as you'll see in a sec. I go for the Sacred Fire, and I miss.
Oh my fuck, dude! What the hell? Oh, dude. Fuck that. Are you kidding?
Yeah, he sets up a coil now, which is great, because I'll show you in a sec, after the damage that I do with the next Sacred Fire, which I actually hit, hooray. I hit the next Sacred Fire, which does 36%. Multiply that by 1.5, that is 54%. Alright? Yeah, 54%. 54 plus 36 is 90. If I got a burn, he was dead. I had a 50% chance to burn. So one of the two could have got burned and he would have died. That was eel gone. I was 6-5 up, easy peasy. Game is in my favour. Now he's got a +1/+1 eel, and I don't have much to deal with this, so I'm kind of forced into sort of whittling it down with something else. This, even though it doesn't seem like it yet, I will go over why it's more than it is now. So here at this point I'm just thinking it's unfortunate. It's just one of those things that, alright, I missed a 95% accurate move. Kill me. That's two sort of really accurate moves that I missed. I'm kind of pissed, but I switch out into Rotom, predicting him to coil again, or go for an electric attack move. He goes for Drain Punch, which as soon as I see that, I'm thinking Drain Punch is a weird move to go for against Entei. It's not Stab. I'm kind of predicting it to be Rest Talk Coil, but even though that's the case, I go for a Willow because otherwise he'd kill me. Thankfully, I hit the Willow. Hooray! Rotomo is wearing his glasses this week, but Entei isn't. I hit the Willow. He Drain Punches me. He goes back up to full HP. That's fine. I go for the Pain Split here, which honestly, if I didn't bring Pain Split, this would have been a much worse situation. I'm at this point. He goes for another coil. There's not much I can do about it. Burn's starting to whittle him down as well. Here, I could have stayed in and gone for the Leaf Storm, but it wasn't a kill from that range if he was specially defensive, which, being that he was coil and being that he did Jackal damage with Drain Punch, I'm kind of expecting him to be. And I didn't want to have this down at -4 when he has a potential Gyarados setup, a potential Talonflame setup, a potential, I don't know, Mamo if it's got Work Up or something setup, I don't know. But he had so many setup potential on a lowered attack mon, which is why I didn't really bring Superpower on Tyranitar. I then Volt Switch out, of course. Doesn't do much damage, but that's to be expected. As you can see by that damage, I would have. I think it's 38% max. I would have done with Leaf Storm. He would have died to burn, I think. But if he was rest as I predicted him to be, then it would have been an issue. I go out into Latias predicting the Drain Punch, and I get that prediction right. And this is possibly my biggest misplay of the game. I should have just clicked Draco or Psyshot. No, just Draco. I should have just clicked Draco. It's simple. I get a kill. But instead, I go for the fancy plays. I predict the Clef Key. I go for the HP Fire.
Fuck! Fuck! I choked on a dick. I choked on a dick.
And it bites me in the ass, and I get knocked off, and this is basically dead. Now, this is where the miss mattered, because if I didn't miss, I would never have gone out into Latias in the first place, and Latias would have still been alive with his Scarf, and it would have been great. Sadly, Latias is going to have to go down to this eel. I go for the side shot just for a clean kill. I didn't want to mess around with this anymore. Yeah. So Latias is pretty much dead at this point. And now he can freely go out into his Gyarados and set up a D-Dance. Now I just go for the Draco. If I switch out, he's setting up a D-Dance. So, yeah. I just go for a Draco. It does solid damage, to be fair. And he sets up a D-Dance, to be expected. He could potentially go for another one, but Poliwrath can take any hit, really. So it wouldn't be his best play. His best play is to kill this off. He goes for the EQ, safe play, kills me off. That's fine. This is at +1. My Latias is dead, which is unfortunate, but because it wasn't scarfed anymore, it wasn't worth it. Poliwrath can take any hit, any 2 hits from this range because of the investment that I've got. He dies to a Focus Blast. I don't want to mess around with this. I could have gone for a Skull, but I go for the Focus Blast. He switches out into Talonbird here. Thank you, Showdown. And it takes a decent amount of damage. So that's not a specially defensive set. He's definitely offensive, so I'm still expecting the Swords Dance natural gift set. I stay in thinking he's going to be cheeky, predict my Tyranitar, go for the natural gift. I want to burn that berry ASAP. So I stay in, and he shows the U-turn. So that means he's definitely not SD, but he still shows, but that doesn't mean that he's not the natural gift set. I go for the Scald here, I believe, just fishing for a burn on something as he goes out into Klefki. Now I could have stayed in on this, tried to fish for a burn again, but I really don't want to deal with that. So I decide to go out into my Rotom, sort of whittle it down a bit. And this is where his set gets a little interesting. This is a very creative set, I'm very impressed. He shows Reflect, which is kind of standard, but it's kind of not, because in League play you don't always see screens. Magic Room. Items no longer have effect. My Resist Berries are worth Jack all for the next 4 turns, I believe it is. Which is extremely creative, providing that he knows me. We talk a lot when we build together. We don't build together per se, but we give each other sort of advice. And he knows that my motto is, if you don't have a counter, you have a Resist Berry. And he's kind of playing on that with this Magic Room, which is very cool. With it, so that kind of affects how I'm going to prepare for this. At first I was like, okay, that just means that his potential Scarf Farm Momo is gone, which means if he switches out into that, I can kill it. That was sort of my mindset at first. And then I was thinking that could also mean that a potential item on Hitmonlee won't pop, which means he can't get his Unburden. So this, to me, is more like a good thing. I didn't think about the berries at first, but when we talked after the game, he mentioned that. So I go for the Willow, get the burn. He shows... Yeah, you go. There's the awkward silence. Thank you, Shardy. He shows the Safeguard, which means that I can't burn his Gyarados anymore. I think I just Volt Switch out on this. Yeah, does decent damage, so he's probably physically defensive, to be expected with all the rock type coverage that I can get on the physical side. Here I go out into Entei. Now I go for the sub, I believe, predicting a switch. I didn't expect Gyarados. Here I kind of play it a bit dumb, because I go for the sub and I go for the Sacred Fire hoping for the burn, when he literally set up a Safeguard the turn before. MLG plays, I know. So I go for that, and it does Jackal damage. I should definitely have gone for the Stone Edge. Would have got more damage off on this, and potentially, if I got a crit, I could have killed it with the E-Speed. But I don't. So here, I decide to go straight out into Poliwrath. It's my best play. Yeah, go out into Poliwrath. I can take anything at any 2 hits from +2, so +1. Sorry. Here I predict him to D-Dance again, risking the Focus Blast Mist or whatever to try and kill this off. So I go for the Encore, and he goes for Earthquake and gets a crit. Now, once again, look at the damage. Earthquake is times 1.5. Times 1.5, so that means he would have done 41%. 41%. I was at 92, I believe. I could have taken 2 Earthquakes and killed this off with a Focus Blast. That's 2 instances of hacks, which cost me a Mon, cost me momentum, and ended up getting Bluesy and sort of ahead in this game. I can still pull it back from here. That Encore was a misplay, and I accept that as very similarly to the misplay with Latias. It was a poor judgment call, but it was all after a sort of tilt in Bluesy's favour due to hacks. But that's sort of my view on this. I could have definitely taken another EQ. I could have taken 2 EQ, sorry. Because he's Encored into it, I could have still killed him after. So I go for the Encore, as I said. And he just kills me off with another EQ because he has no reason not to. And here I'm forced to burn my Sugar Berry on Cobalion, because I can't go out into Rotom. I need it healthy for the Memo, and for the Hitmonlee. So I go into this, go for the close combat. I take it because of the Sugar Berry. That was sort of the plan from the start. Incidentally, I could have taken a +2 one because he wasn't fully attack invested by the looks of it. But yeah, that's really unfortunate that all the momentum was thrust his way due to 2 instances of hacks. It's very similar to the game against Lion in that regard, by the way that it was thrust in his favour. Here I stay in and go for the close combat because I'm a baller, and I end up killing him because my balls are bigger than freaking Jupiter. That's another kill for Cobalion. He's done decently well this match. He's done his job. Here I just let it go down. I have no reason to predict around this. And here I got into T-Tar, and what should have been a Stone Edge kill, as you'll see, I should have gone for Stone Edge. But he, forgetting that I don't get my defenses deterred by Mega Evo, He doesn't go for natural gift, which would have killed from full HP because I'm not defensive. He goes for the roost, as I predicted him, as I said, to go for the natural gift. So his berry isn't burned. I know for a fact he's still got natural gift. By the way, he doesn't have lefties, he doesn't have life orb, he's got nothing. Wait, did he have life orb? Yes, sorry, I'm going completely bonkers. He does have life orb, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So everything that I was scared of during the match was for naught. Well done me. I go for the Stone Edge because it kills everything except for the Memo, which can't take 2. Here he goes out into Memo. Right. All the instances of hacks led up to this point. I would have still maybe had Poliwrath to sack off, but that doesn't really matter. Poliwrath at this point doesn't matter. The Latias, however, does. At this point, what I should have done is gone into Entei and sacked it. It played just literally 0 part anymore, because regardless of what move he goes for, one of my mons is going to die. I go for the Protect to scout what it is. That's right. Here he goes for Superpower. Why I didn't go out into Entei is beyond me, because he would have been able to take 2. He would have been at -2/-2. I could have then Volt switched out, predicting the Talon Bird to come in, go out into this, get damage on it, kill it off with a Leaf Storm, GG. Unless I missed, of course. Instead I go out into Rotom, get 2-hit KO by Superpower, as you will see soon. 2-hit KO, there we go. And you'll see there's even more throws going on here. So not only has hacks completely messed me over, but I throw twice in the last 5 turns. That's wonderful. Here I go out into Entei, as I said. I've got no reason not to Stone Edge, because he's definitely not staying in. He's not going to do any damage with Superpower anyway. So I go for Stone Edge. I believe it hits if Entei's not blind, which he was close to being, let's be honest. I go for a Stone Edge, it does hit. Talon Bird goes down, of course. There's no way a Talon Bird is taking that. And now is where the throw happens, you see. With my HP investment, this is a roll to kill me. It's a roll that's sort of split 50-50, and I was thinking to myself, Stone Edge and E-Speed can't kill. Stone Edge from him, E-Speed from this, of course. It can, once again, it's a roll, but it's a roll in Bluesy's favour. So between a 50-50 and a roll in Bluesy's favour, I'm going to go for the 50-50. He goes for the EQ, it kills me off, so the roll didn't go in my favour. He gets a crit anyway. Yeah, that's sort of just like rubbing salt in the wound at that point. I could maybe have taken one, maybe. Like that's a very big maybe. Here he goes to the EQ. I can take one because Mega T-Tar is a fucking boss. If I got a crit here, I won. Would have been justice, would have been poetic justice. I didn't get a crit, even though it's a high crit chance move. GG, Bluesy, GG, RNGesus. Going for the Protect because I'm an MLG pro and that's what we do. Going for that dank PP stall because that's the best tactic in the game. I choked so hard at the end. I go for the Protect because I might as well go for the Ultra Mega 12 turn Protect because it's the only way to win, am I right? Yeah. So not only did hacks completely change the course of that game, I explained why. Because if I still had my Latias, I had an EQ resist, I had a superpower resist, I had something that outsped this. That was everything I needed for that endgame, and I didn't have it anymore because of that Sacred Fire miss. I'm not too bothered about the crit onto Poliwrath. That was unfortunate, yes, it meant that his Gyarados was able to get damage on Cobalion and burn my Shuka, which would have incidentally dealt with this a lot better, but there's not much I could have done about that. That one was unfortunate, but not game-changing. That was differential changing if I didn't get the miss as well, if you see what I mean. If I didn't get the miss, and he got the crit, my differential wouldn't have been as good in my favour. If I did miss, and he didn't get the crit, he might have still won anyway, if you see what I mean. The crit didn't matter as much as the miss did after what happened with the miss. Granted, yes, the after what happened in the hacks were misplays, and that was mainly because I was trying to claw back momentum, and when I do, I play way too aggressively and overpredict. Even though Bob hates that, I'm going to use the word overpredict. I'm really, really annoyed I couldn't pull through this game. There was so many instances in which I choked. There were so many instances in which hacks changed the game. It was my game to lose, and I straight up lost it. To be fair to Bluesy, he played very well. He played relatively safe, but it sort of worked out for him in the way that I was playing. The only sort of ballsy-ish play that he made was the U-turn on Talonbird, and that was when I played even ballsier, staying in with a Polyrath. But otherwise, yeah, there was... he played as well as he could, and I threw, and I got haxed, and I'm just bad at the game, and the game is bad at me. That's sort of the best way to sum it up. If anything, that will be the title. Even though it's kind of spoilery as to the result, I don't care. That will definitely be the title now. I've said it in the video, so yeah. My MVP this week, I kind of have to give it to Cabalion. Those 2 kills were important. The fact that I had the Sugarberry allowing me to take down the Gyarados was huge, and then the kill onto Hitmonlee was also huge. Even though Cheetar was a big part of this, and Rotom was a huge way of dealing with the Coil Eel after I needed it to die, and sort of dealing with the Klefki as well. Aside from that, Entei could and really should have been the MVP there, but it let me down, and it let the whole team down, and it let the game thrust into Bluesy's favour, as I said. I'm not going to dawdle on this because it's kind of like the situation with Lion. There's no way of knowing what would have happened. Knowing me, I probably would have hit that and then missed a Leaf Storm later on in the game and lost anyway. So now all I have to do is win the next 4 games, which is easy, right? I mean, I'm only facing the 3 other people who are on the higher end of the table. I mean, that's fine. You know, it's not like they're like the toughest opponents I have to face, and you know, not counting Bluesy, of course. It's not like I'm facing Merc, who has arguably one of the best teams in the division, and I'm not facing Pierre, who beat me last season. I'm not facing Robin, who is completely destroying this season. Thankfully, I am facing Jesse last. Unless he starts calling back momentum, it should be a game in my favour, because I have a decent matchup against his team. However, if he does start calling back momentum and getting a bit more into the rhythm of building and stuff, then I will definitely have to be scared of him. I'm of course not going to underestimate anyone. I'm going to prep like I prep every week. But there's a difference between respecting your opponent and being scared. I respect every opponent I've faced so far, and I'm scared of the next 3 matches. This is going to be a big set of games. I need to win every game, unless Merc, Rob, or Pierre, one of the Merc or Pierre, but Robin, sorry, those 2 mainly have to lose. If one of them lose this week, I still have a way in. I just need to win one of the. I can win 3 of the 4. If one of them loses, I can win 3 of the 4. If both of them win, I need to win all 4. That is a need. I'm really frustrated that I have to do that. 2 of those games, the 2 losses that I've had this season should not have been losses. The first one was down to a Leaf Storm miss, which completely changed the momentum of the game. Once again, I said in that video, I'll say it again, it might not have mattered in the end. This game was down to not only hacks, but also me playing like absolute garbage. I played like absolute garbage all the way through this match. I could have easily clawed back momentum 5 times. 5 times I could have won this game. Hands down. Even with the hacks. And I didn't. I need to change my outlook on the games. My prep, I think, is great. I think my prep, there's nothing wrong with it. I go into a game confidently with the team that I would bring. I think there's no problem with that. The problem is my play and the game. My play needs to be stepped up to win against Merc, against Rob, against Pierre, against Jesse, and potentially if I reach the playoffs, of course. But also, I need the game not to mess me over. This is 2 matches which I think, even with the misplays, this game would have been won without the hacks. I wouldn't have played as recklessly. I would not have lost Latias, which would have won me the game in the end, and I could have potentially just won 2 or 3-0, maybe even, which would have been a completely different story. Because Bluesy would have been knocked down a few spots. I would have taken the first spot temporarily, of course, until Merc and Rob fight, but that would have meant I was more in the playoff race than I am now. I'm currently sitting in 9 points after 5 games. If Merc, Rob, and Pierre win, they're all sitting on 12, and Bluesy's on 15. I need to win these matches. I can't emphasize that more. To sum up this game, as usual, I'm going to do a GIF of the week. This one isn't going to be as happy as usual, or as it was last week. I mean, the first one was sad. The second one was happy. This one's going to be sad once more. You can see it on your screen right about now, if I'm not lazy and edited it in. There's not much more to say on this front. Incidentally, don't forget to Wonder Room that like button, because Wonder Room is the best room. Who cares about Magic Room and about Trick Room, because Wonder Room is the best. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the sort of different aspect to this, in the sense that I made sort of a weird intro in the beginning, and if you did, then I might start making like random stuff to make videos more interesting. I hope Shardy appreciated the fact that I didn't pause as much and I slowed it down. I still paused some because I had to go over some of the big important plays, but you get what I mean. Anyway, I'm sort of rambling on at this point. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Live from Crawthorne, it's the most hype match of Pokemon of all time. This is the...